So welcome everybody to another video. We've talked about 11 videos. So as you can see here, but it seems that people actually didn't like this introduction. It was really a little bit complex. So I've recreated a program here to illustrate stuff. Okay. So that's how to call actually Python or which interpreter to be used here. Okay, so we are going to call to interpret these instructions from the user bin in Python. Okay, this is called the shebang, and in order to import modules in the Python, you are going to use either import directly the module itself, or from this module you are going to actually import some methods. Okay, so for example, from the sys method or class, I am going to import the argv, and this is used to parse arguments, and from time I'm going to import ctime, and I'm going to import the socket, and you're going to understand socket on video 9. Basically it's video about video 7. Okay, and the RE module is regular expressions. So that's how to declare the commands in the Python. Okay, this is a command, everything that starts with a hash, and this actually we are going to define variables. So there are a couple of data types, like here we have a string, so banner grabbing, this is the program name .py. So the website is www.pentestingskills.com, and again these are actually commands. And the author is my little name. The port number here is 80, and this is an integer. Okay, this is an integer, and the IP is a string, as you can see here, combination of 4 bytes with the dot delimiter, and this is called a tuple. That's how to define a tuple between parentheses and the Python. And the tuple is a list, except that tuples are immutable, which is you cannot make change to them. Okay, are immutable. So in the Python we have the tuple, we have the lists, and that's how a list looks like, as you can see here. And we've got something called dictionaries. Okay, so we have another get request here. This is a string, and the \n is new line. Okay, stands for new line, and that's how a get HTTP get request looks like. So we are going to request the root directory, and the HTTP command is http/1.1 version 1.1. You could use 1.0, and the differences between these are something. The 1.0 is going to connect and close directly, but using 1.1 you are going to you will be able to send other commands until you close the socket. Okay, so this is the second line contains the host we are going to connect to, and you can add other actually allowed methods or instructions. So actually I'm going to show you how to make use of the dictionaries in the Python. So this, I call this as the translator. So dictionaries are key value pairs data structure. Okay, this is the key and this is the value. Okay, this is the key and this is the value. So I'm gonna use this actually, as you can see here. In order to see a port number 80, I'm not going to print 80, but I am going to print the value related to 80, which is HTTP. So this is useful for service translation. So let me go ahead and do it here. Okay, as you can see here, I'm sending a packet, which is the get requests. This is actually string formatting. The %s stands for string, and if you remember, the get is a string here. Anything defines between quotes or double quotes, and I am going to send the get to the server, the address. That's how to access the first element of the tuple, which is the first element with index 0, as you can see here, and the second element with index 1. Okay, that's how to call it, but I am going to call the translator. This is the value of this given instruction is 80, and I am going to call the value related to 80 on the dictionary translator. Okay, so here it would be HTTP. Okay, you can add other services as well. So here you can add a define a function get banner, and it could accept I've added this just to show that this could accept many parameters with a comma separated with commas, and this actually the try and accept and finally called exception handling. So exception handling are used or is used to customize error messages or ignore them. So for example, if we will not be able to connect to the server, I am going to an error would raise and actually would store on the error variable, and I am going to print it, and finally it's called anyway. Okay, if this is happened or either an error occurred, I am going to close the socket, and here I am going to connect to the given IP address and the port number 80, and I am going to send the GET request and receive the data. And the data here, the receive from returns a tuple. The first element is the data, and the second element in this is the server IP. So how to get the data? We are going to actually here call the data with the index 0, which is the first element data, and I am going to split lines here. The split line methods actually would simply put split the string with the delimiter \n, and if you remember, the \n stands for new line, and actually the data is stored on data, and we are going to print the website variable here. And if you remember here, the website is as follows, my website. So for line here, this is how to define loops in the Python. So for line in data, and if you remember, data is a list, okay, is a list. So for line in data, I am going to I am going to perform a find all related to using regular expression. I am going to ignore case and search for anything that starts with server column, and I am going to perform this little patterns against the line. So each line of the data, go ahead and search for server. If you will find it, just go ahead and print server info, and I am going to split line by column, this little comment, and I am going to get the second info with index 1, which means the Apache server, the HTTP server version, and the operating system. Okay, and that's how to call a subroutine or a function. You can call it method or function or a subroutine. So let's go ahead and execute F5, and I am going to save it. And as you can see here, sending get blah 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 blah, and the host here is going to be 172.16.122.99, and actually the reason why we have here, we've got a new line, actually I could have add an R here, and I think it would work for us. So let me do it, and the same thing. I believe the get here, the get actually after calling the get, it found the new lines here. Okay, that's why actually it has added new lines here. So the website is as follows, and as you can see here, the server info is Apache. This is the version, and this is the operating system version. So that's a little introduction about Python. This is a little reminder just to illustrate what we've done in these little complex videos. So that's the reason why I highly recommended you to watch those actually Python courses or Python courses for beginners, okay, or for newbies. So that's all for this video. See you next time.